everyone, and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today, we're still sick, as you can hear, but excited to watch heavy cavalry with extra armor take on heavy camels with extra attack, as Mr. Yo, playing as the Sicilians in red, gets ready to take on the Viper, playing as the Malians in blue. Now, while the players herd their herdables, explore their explorables, and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP, not a bad opportunity for us, Elephant over there, to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Sicilians, we saw them recently, a civilization whose strength flows from their static defensive structures. Sicilians do start the game, if you take a look at the top left of your screen, with 100 extra stone, which is fantastic because they build town centers twice as fast as normal and fortifications 50% faster than normal. And starting in Feudal Age, they can build their unique structure, the donjon. Think of this as a mini castle that gains both HP and armor as the game goes on, and starting in Castle Age does shoot multiple arrows even when ungarrisoned. Now, donjons, like their sister structure, the Bulgarian Krepos, can be used to train the unique unit of the civilization, in this particular case, the Sergeant. This is an overall medium infantry unit with great base armor whose HP actually increases in the Castle Age and is one of the only two unique units you can train in Feudal. By the way, you can use those very same sergeants to build and repair the donjons that gave them life. Now, unlike the sister structure Bulgarian Krepos, donjon can also be used to train spearman line units and can also be used as a prerequisite to building stables and archery ranges, which means generally you don't need a barracks, although always if you're going to go infantry, a barracks is a good idea. Now, if you find yourself in dire need of a lot of military very, very quickly, one of the cool things the Sicilians can do is actually ring the bell and call a first crusade, where each town center does spawn 5 sergeants up to a maximum of 5 TCs for 25 sergeants. Now, because the sergeant is so heavily armored and moves so slowly on the battlefield to help protect it, the Sicilians do come with a few nifty features. To start with, their knights, their cavaliers, can be upgraded to get +1/+2 armor. All of their infantry, cavalry, and archer units take 33% less bonus damage, and all of their units can be upgraded to become more resistant to conversion. Now, speaking of units, you gotta train them, you gotta feed them. To do that, the Sicilians do have the most bountiful farms in the game. When a farm upgrade is researched, it more than doubles the amount of food that's added to a farm, so a fully upgraded and seeded Sicilian farm in Imperial Age, if we're lucky enough to see Imperial Age, between these two titans of the game, over 1,000 food. Now, speaking of someone who might want to convert, might want to damage, might want to kill some Sicilian units, we've got the Viper playing as the Malians to the right in blue, a civilization classified as quote-unquote infantry, but man oh man, are they so much more. To start with, sure, units produced in a Malian barracks do get free extra pierce armor starting in the Feudal Age all the way up to +3 in Imperial, and their unique unit is the Gebeto, a quick infantry unit with a strong ranged melee attack, but absolutely terrible HP and 0 base armor of any kind. But beyond their infantry, Malian cavalry can actually be upgraded to get a massive +5 attack boost, which is fantastic because even though they don't have hussars or paladins, with this upgrade called Farimba, the Malian cavaliers actually have a higher attack than paladins, and their light cavalry and heavy camel riders are some of the strongest in the game. Now, if instead you choose to go the archer route, no, you'll have plenty of wood left over to train your army, since all Malian structures except for farms, sorry, you're not the Teutons, do cost 15% less wood. Now, in order to help them train their military as fast as humanly possible, Malian gold miners do drop off 10% more gold when they work the gold mine, their universities work 80% faster, and their settlements are harder to raid because the Malians can actually upgrade their town centers to fire 8 arrows when empty and up to 18 arrows. I mean, that's just ridiculous. 18 arrows when fully garrisoned compared to the normal 8 fired by a normally garrisoned town center. It looks like both players kind of going the wrong way here. And just another Age of Empires classic situation. Let's take a look at the battle path, the attack path between the two bases, because both of them seem to kind of be centered to the south of the map, where the northern 2/3, okay, a bit of a desolate wasteland full of a little bit of extra gold, stone, and a relic or two. Mysterio. Sorry, I mentioned the attack path and then I immediately ignored what I said. There seems to be one giant forest in the way between the two bases, but the northeast of Mysterio's base and the west of the Viper's completely open. I can already see some trouble here for our Malian with the location of the primary resources. Primary gold, oh goodness gracious, so annoyingly placed on a hill. Primary stone also annoyingly placed on a hill. A very hilly map Unfortunately, no one here is the Georgians or the Tatars. But let's see how the players decide to play this out. And like a little bit of a baseball hat on top of his base, Mysterio has his extra gold patches and his stone as well secured to the back. So good amount of stone for our Sicilians secured to the rear of the base, which for a civilization that likes to donjon rush, or at least place donjons anywhere they want, that is a fantastic, fantastic location for the stone. Viper, by the way, has discovered with that Feudal Age scout whose line of sight is significantly better than his Dark Age counterpart, where Mr. Yo is. Forests for our Sicilian, not very helpful. One to the north, one to the east, and that's basically it. Okay, I'm not even sure you can count this as Mr. Yo's forest. The Viper, we saw problematically, primary gold, primary stone, oh goodness gracious, secondary stone, and secondary gold as well. 4 out of his 5 primary resources are in the forward position. How much has Mr. Yo seen? Only seen 2 of the 4. Ooh, if he knew that there was stone up here and gold down here. Whereas the Viper's tertiary gold over here to the back, which is not bad at all, actually. And his forest's also completely unhelpful, although close to one another. And he's already beginning to wall off. If you ever thought that your wall offs look a little wonky or a little strange, don't feel too bad for yourself. I didn't mean to go full Larry David there. Don't feel too bad for yourself. The Viper, for a player that is in a bit of a corner position. Actually, wait a second. Never mind, they disengage. Ooh, Mr. Yo is a very weak scout here. For a player who starts in kind of the corner position, they always have a back to their base. Whereas a player who starts along the edge, center edge portion of the map, never really has a back portion. The Viper, if he wanted to, has a safe 2 giant forests. And if he knew he had this escarpment here, ooh, man, he could use that fantastically to wall off a big old chunk of the map, have a lot of wood. Although, as the Malians, remember, everything does cost 15% less wood, except for farms. So, do you really need that much wood? We'll see how the Viper decides to play this. He has been fantastic with Gebetos whenever he decides to go Gebetos, and lots of high ground trying to get used here by Mr. Yo. Where is this one scout with 5 HP? There you are to the south. Has he discovered? Okay, so he has seen the extra gold here. Someone's gonna die. I have a feeling, I have a premonition right now that someone's gonna die. Somebody, some unit, somewhere is gonna bite the dust. The Viper needs to be careful. He's kind of luring Mr. Yo into this 4th exposed resource patch here. Okay, Spearman dies first. Mr. Yo just outnumbers his opponent, and now I have no clue what the hell is going on. Horse death sounds, 2 kills apiece, as first blood is drawn by our Sicilian, who has inserted a scout. The Viper, for his part, not garrisoning any villagers, and does manage to kill that one very nosy business minder scout. Gets a kill lead of 3-2, and Mr. Yo backs away. 6 scouts is enough for him. Just training villagers at the moment. Both players at 30 vills. Both players at 6 army count. A bit more of a diverse army for our Malian. And remember, any unit that comes out of a barracks for them, including spearmen, do get free +1 pierce armor in feudal, and then another +1 in castle, another +1 in imperial. Although, well, I was going to say, although with no ranged units out for our Sicilian, not really an issue, but already a skirmisher out. And where is he? Okay, so he's just kind of hanging out in the rec room inside the archery range. Scout with 3 HP. Did he have 2 very weak scouts? One with 5? Yeah, there's one here with 5. No, this one's got 4. Oh my goodness, there was one with 3, one with 4, one with 5. Mr. Yo's just collecting, like we collect, I don't know, baseball cards. The weakest scouts in the game. I love that he's doing what Hera does with his weak scouts, by the way. Something every player should be doing with a unit that has very little HP, is sending them out to explore the map. And oh, wait a second, we may get a villager kill here. But no, yeah, actually, we did get a villager kill, but it comes at a cost. Another villager kill. Ooh, Mr. Yo thought he could take these scout units on, but I spy with my little eye a little bit of high ground here. Did the Viper use that high ground to get those 3 villager kills? Oh, he's not done. Our Malian is pressing the issue. Mr. Yo's attack on the other side of the map has, looks like it's accomplished absolutely nothing. Although there seems to be another scuffle now. A 4th villager lies dead. Scouts, though, are starting to lose their HP. How many villagers will Mr. Yo sacrifice to kill these scouts. One last scout remaining. Not too sure, was it the spearman? No, it was one of the villagers. Actually, these villagers have 4 kills. Okay. On the other side of the map, looks like a tower is going up to defend this. So far, 2 Malian archers have bitten the dust. 3 Malian archers. So Mr. Yo, he's returning fire here. Now, it kind of sucks that he's lost 5 villagers, but he has managed to kill one of his opposing villagers. Make that 2 opposing villagers. All of a sudden, action exploding on both sides of the map, but tower is up, which means that this army no longer has a shelf life here, and you are beyond your best buy date, and you have to get the hell out of here. The Viper, again, if you ever wondered about the shape of your base wall off, don't ever feel bad. I don't even know what the hell this shape is. There's a bit of a nook over here. There's a bit of a nook over here. A bit of a nook over here. I'm surprised that he's given up this high ground, by the way. This is a hill that I think the Viper should have maybe built his houses and some palisades on instead of giving it to your opponent, basically. How many relics has Mr. Yo seen? He's about to discover. Yep. So he's out on the map exploring relics. What about the Viper? Viper, look at his vision. Absolutely nothing. He's seen where his opponent is. He's seen the attack path, and that's basically it. And we've got our first donjon of the game. 3 villagers, 4 villagers are moving forward. So this is going to lame the Viper's primary gold. It kind of inadvertently, indirectly lames the stone up top here, because how the hell's the Viper going to send units to mine that stone? But does the Viper care? He is 45 seconds away from Castle Age. Mr. Yo, nowhere close. Still needs 170 food. Still needs 200 gold. But he's moving dangerously close to the tower with this army. And now the gold miners have to get the hell out of here. Let's see what kind of pressure Mr. Yo can put on here. He's ahead 2 villagers, but the Viper is now in Castle Age. Oh, and he's taking the stone. Okay, so we'll see whether that's for a castle. We'll see whether that's for a continued donjon push. Like we've also got a scout here to the rear with 3 HP. The Viper is not reacting to this, which means the Sicilian army is inside of the Malian base, but the Malian is in Castle Age. Does he care? Maybe this was all part of the plan. As he surrounds and attacks with his knights. Looks like one of the knights is also, maybe 2 of the knights are going to start working away at that donjon. By skirmishers. Not too sure they'll even get a villager here unless there's already a super weak one. But the 4th skirmisher bites the dust. The scouts, okay, they just got the hell out of here. And the Viper looks like he's added villagers into here as well. Ooh. Mr. Yo is under siege. The Viper says, leave my stone alone. As he crushes that donjon. Mr. Yo's a minute 40 seconds away from hitting castle himself. Now the monk, I'm assuming, is going to go after a scout. Let's see who wins who. Who wins what here? It is so hard. I say this all the time. It is so freaking hard to protect against scout line units when you're defending your monk. You literally need something like 20 units. 20 units in order to body block a monk. Unless it's in like a choke point or something. Otherwise, the scouts will just run circles around you. Now, this is an interesting situation here. The Viper wanted to build a tower, says, forget it, I'm just going to build a town center. But remember, Malians, the Sicilians, do build defensive, fortifications. I'm going to finish a sentence properly, I swear to this game. They build fortifications 50% faster. Unfortunately, that fortification, the donjon, is under attack right from the very minute Mr. Yo started building it. Why is the Viper focusing on here? This is open. Why are you focusing on the palisade? It's open. Go and kill the villagers. And the Viper just says, you know what? I don't even need a tower. What the hell do I need a tower for? I'm going to kill your villagers. I'm going to destroy your infrastructure. Mr. Yo, lots and lots of red dots around the map. Spearmen and scouts. What exactly is he looking for as he attacks a Malian monastery? Now, one thing I should point out when we're talking about fortifications for the Sicilians, You might be wondering what the hell's a fortification. This freaking game and its million different classifications. Building armor, standard building armor, stone defense, every possible configuration of words under the sun. So what the hell is a fortification exactly? Well, here's what fortifications are. They're outposts, towers, walls of both types, so palisade and stone. I know I'm pointing at the Malians, believe me, and not the Sicilians. And by the way, that includes gates, so walls and gates, and then castles and donjons. So they build those 50% faster than normal as high ground Sicilian knights engage into that part of the map as the Viper is back for round number 2. This time it's not a bunch of scouts. This time it's a bunch of knights. See what they can actually get accomplished here. Okay. Even with the high ground, he does eventually get outnumbered here. Ooh, looks like Mr. Yo preemptively pulled a bunch of villagers. Town center does manage to get its first kill, but wait a second, you thought you were safe? Nuh-uh, says our Malian. As he returns, but wait a second, Wololos? Wololos? Nah, the Viper runs away. RNG not working here for Mr. Yo. Knights are getting shoot away by a few basic spearmen. Remember, they still do plus 15 bonus damage, which means the Viper, even with bloodlines, needs to be very careful. And Mr. Yo is unrelenting. He is back yet again with another body of knights. Some of them are veterans from the Battle of the Southern Hill. Some of them are fresh-faced recruits. Ooh, I like this. The mere presence of the knights was enough to get the Viper to run his villagers back, but RNG doesn't work out for the Viper in this case. Actually, you know what? 2 monks dead, 1 apiece. And now the castle is up. We'll see what that's for, whether that's for units, whether that's for technology, whether that's just, you know what, I just kind of want to protect my stone right now. Market comes under attack. Both of these players are pulling villagers very nicely from areas that are under attack by these heavy cavalry units. Although the Viper now, ooh, gotta be so careful. Gotta be so careful. You are jacking your wood. And when you jack your wood in Age of Empires, you have to be very careful not to jack it too hard. Otherwise, you leave gaps in your wall off. No, you don't go blind. You just leave gaps in your wall off. Oh, one villager unfortunately does not heed the call to return to the home base and does get gunned down by this marauding band of Malian knights. And the Viper is now pulling a relic. Currently 0 relics each and a second castle for our Malian, who has popped out Gabetos. I should say a Gabeto. It says he's got 2. I'm not exactly sure where the second is. The third one just popped out here to the north. We've seen the Viper absolutely curb stomp cavalry archers with Gabetos. Now knights are a little bit of a different bone to chew here with 2 base melee armor, and they're also faster than the Gabetos. So they want to, they can close in. As I mentioned earlier, the base Gabeto, not the elite, comes with 40 HP. Right, actually, I think I just was generally saying that their HP is not the greatest. And their armor is not the greatest either. They have 0 armor of any kind. But what they lack in armor, what they lack in HP, look at how fast they are moving. They are just an absolute beast of a raiding unit. And Mr. Yo has been pushed back all the way to his base. The Viper repels all of the attacks, static offense, mobile offense, bye-bye Feudal Age spearmen as well. And now our Malian is on the warpath. Mr. Yo has a semblance of a defensive force here with a few knights, 8 knights altogether. And unfortunately for the Viper, he is engaging underneath a TC, which means one of these knights, oh, so close, should be dead any minute now. There he is. I don't know why he turned around and engaged. Viper actually losing 2 knights there is pretty not good for him. But does he care? I see a bit of an incursion. No, never mind. What the hell was the Viper doing with a monk over here? Maybe 2 monks, and he must have converted this villager, right? We'll have seen that in picture, but the pro players love doing that. They love sending a monk, converting a villager, and then using that villager to build some kind of spotting structure, whether it's an outpost or a house or whatever. Now, if that was a Sicilian villager building the outpost. Remember, as a fortification, it would have been built 50% faster. I love that Mysterio is expanding all the way to the left side of his base. He's going up to 4 TCs. The Viper is at 4 TCs as well, but Mysterio has no castles. Another villager gets gunned down, but now the Gebetos are under attack, but they're on the high ground here. Now, the damage output of a Gebeto is, if you're not familiar, the exact same as a knight. Both of them attack on a base of a 10. That just tells you everything you need to know about this unit and how to use it and how to run around with it and snipe and kill and destroy everything in your path. Another monk gets got. But the Viper should have 3 relics to 1. There is one final relic here that Mysterio is guarding right as a castle is going up for our Malian. Okay, that's why he wanted to secure the stone patch so damn well. Let's see. The Viper's quick hand micro. Not too quick this game. And again, he pulls the villagers. But this is going to be a lot of dead villagers. They are dying left, right, and center. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Do-do-do-do-do. But the Gebetos are not being dealt with. They've already racked up 6 kills. Will he convert? Well, he does manage to get a conversion. Mysterio's RNG, actually 2 conversions, finally kicking in here. Neither player can really engage into the other one here. One has a big, fat, juicy King of the Hill castle. One has monks. Are they going to go after the monks? Oh, they're going after the monks now. Because they are ranged melee, they suffer from the same annoying fate that all ranged melee suffers from. I'm talking about Mamelukes. I'm talking about throwing axemen. There's no such thing as ballistics for ranged melee attacks, which means when your unit's moving, sometimes, in fact, many a time, the units miss the ranged melee attack. The unit with ranged melee attack misses. And Mysterio says, you know what, forget this. I don't want to attack into 1200 HP with a whole bunch of different armor. I'm just going to build a castle right next to yours. You're going to see it, and you're going to immediately cancel your castle. And so the Viper gets a bit of his stone back immediately. Another castle. The Viper is just jutting himself into the center of the map. We've got a high-octane chase here. Feudal Age Spearmen do manage to gun down a monk, defenseless old man in a pair of sandals. I shouldn't say defenseless. Probably has one of the best defenses in the game. Who's kidding who? The ability to mind control you. What's that unit in, oh, what a great surround by Mr. Yo, who is housed at 115. What's that unit in StarCraft for the Zerg that can mind control your unit? Oh, I forget that they send out that big tentacle. And they convert your unit into their unit. I was watching an awesome, what the hell is it called? I was watching an awesome game where a Zerg player did that to a Protoss probe. And then he built a Nexus. And then all of a sudden the Zerg has access to Protoss units. He built a Nexus, built probes, and then just started building Zealots. Which was ridiculous. Anyway, this is not StarCraft. This is very much... I'm not going to say a historical game. I like to call Age of Empires a historical fantasy. Or a fantastical historical game. Another monk bites the dust. Both players going up to Imperial. Looks like our Malian, off the back of 19 more villagers than his opponent, will hit it first by about 30 seconds. And another castle. You'd think the Malian was the Sicilian, the way he's just castle dropping everywhere. But we've got ourselves a second castle to the south. We've got ourselves a bit more housing. Mysterio realizing that he needs room and board for all the army he's about to train. I think, well, what's the word? Bivouac? Monks are moving forward. Gebetos, not exactly terrible range like the throwing axeman without bearded axe, but, or the Mameluke. But 5 range is not great against a 9 range monk. That being said, 2 dead monks, 2 conversions. Both players absolutely tearing into one another. What an absolute ridiculously fantastic, fun game. Hopefully my voice is not too terrible. Let me know in the comments below if I should just take a few days break, or whether or not you enjoy the soft, soothing, crooning voice that I've always seems to have when I get sick. Is this open? Oh, the Viper for the second time makes a bit of a mistake when he's walling in his building, his castle constructing villagers. But this time the castle wasn't at like 5%. This time he actually completes the castle, and Mysterio's settlement is starting to feel the warm embrace of the Malian death machine. As yeah, the Viper sends a bunch of villagers to the south. Looks like a scout line unit did get cleared up there. How the hell does Mysterio still have spearmen? What he does have is a First Crusade called 25 sergeants spawned from 5 different town centers. And let's see where they all are. There seem to be 15 of them in the forward position. By the way, they're now elite. They have in 16 seconds the last armor upgrade. So their armor is going to be 7 melee, 8 pierce. Which 7 melee armor against the elite Gebeto that now attacks on a 13+2. Because remember, the Malians do not get blast furnace. That would just be unfair with the Farimba upgrade. Even a 15 attack gets dulled by half. Light cavalry circling. Gonna get those monks unless the castle gets them first. Dude managed to get 1 monk. Just look at how powerful. So slow, but so strong. Because of that armor, and both of the Viper's Trebs absolutely dying here. Of course, neither player has murder holes. We're not watching Hera. So a few sergeants peel off to the north, a few sergeants peel off to the south. Again, they're not the strongest. Their base attack is only an 11, which is actually lower than the Gebeto, but their longevity on the battlefield is what makes them so dangerous. It is so hard. They're like, again, the little brother of the Teutonic Knight. Not too sure what's happening here. It looks like a red villager is getting attacked by a Malian light cavalry unit. No Farimba at all for our Malian, who finds himself now under attack, losing light cavalry. But losing light cavalry for sergeants, not a bad trade, as your Gebetos keep wailing away at them with their Kapingas. And this is what I'm talking about. You, with your ranged melee, miss a lot unless they're moving in a straight line. Okay, does manage to take down 1 of those Gebetos. But the siege in the center continues. Where the hell is Mysterio going with these sergeants? What is the game plan here with these 4? Is it just to pull the Viper out of position? Oh yeah, hit and run. Hit and run all day long. A couple of reinforcing Gebetos show up on the high ground here. One thing that's often... that I think I need to point out about the Sicilians that's often forgotten. Remember, all of their cavalry, infantry, and archer line units take 33% less bonus damage. Now, Gebetos don't have any bonus damage that's relevant, but Eagle Warrior +1. Everyone's got a... This marketplace before it died had a attack bonus against Eagle Warriors. Although in this game, I'm trying to remember if there's any units that came with any attack bonuses so far. At this point, I don't think so. We had knights. I don't think the Viper trained any spearmen, by the way. Right? I think it was Mysterio who had all those spearmen. By the way, speaking of by the way, oh, I was right about to point out that the Viper is at 200 population. Mysterio struggling to 150, and wow, the slower moving Sicilian army settlement just collapses under the weight of the non-stop movement out of the Viper, who is attacking in so many different locations. And here we go. We've got a Cavalier. And by the way, a Cavalier, it looks like with Hauberk, +1 melee, +1 pierce armor. And there is Farimba as well. So the only thing missing right now that I wanted to see in my intro would be a heavy camel rider with that +5 attack. Although remember that 18 attack bonus that heavy camels do to cavalry units would get cut by a third. So it would go down to 12 bonus damage. Wow, what an absolute fun game. I mean, the Viper with Gebetos is like Mysterio with plumed archers. It's just like a work of art. He's just running around. How many total kills for these 37 Gebetos? Only 26. To be fair, 26 when you're fighting sergeants with 7 melee armor is not a bad kill count. But villagers under attack, town settlement, kind of in jeopardy, but whatever. He's repairing it with 13 villagers. Actually, in just a little bit, he'll be able to garrison some villagers. Looks like, what is here behind this? Gebetos managed to destroy that 1 Treb that I'm assuming was shelling away at this TC. because I don't see this TC with any damage. No Tigui, which is the upgrade that makes them fire 8 arrows when empty and 18 when fully garrisoned. That would have been an absolute fantastic upgrade to get against the slower moving Sergeant. But wow, the Viper putting on a nice mobile clinic of aggression here. And all, I think, because he managed to secure this one stone patch. Because of that, he managed to, well, he had this castle up. Because of that stone patch, he managed to get, I think, 2 more castles. I guess the one here to the south was first. And then he attempted the one over here, failed, and then popped down one of these. Wow, absolutely epic out of him. And Mysterio says, you know what, I can't really do very much anymore. Even though I'm at 129 villagers, which is a fantastic villager count, by the way. Has the Viper, yeah, has he seen back here? He has seen the 2 town centers back here. But Mysterio just doesn't have army. And more importantly, he doesn't have the resources to make a big army. And even though he's gotten up to the Cavalier upgrade, there's not much that he's going to be able to train with 800 food and 400 gold. And because of that, the Viper just absolutely, I feel like he was using the high ground in the map very, very well. He's also gobbling up resources all over the map. And so Mysterio just falling behind. 150 population to 200 is never a fun place to be. Light Cav, Cavalier, and Sergeants. Okay. A bit of an interesting choice. Light Cav, of all things, 84 Gebetos. So 47 of them have bitten the dust, and 37 of them live to tell the tale. Light Cavalry to snipe those monks and villagers, and then those 8 knights that he trained earlier on. PKPM 10 minutes in. PKPM, I mean, the Viper lately with his APM has been pretty much trying to rival Hera. By the way, as of the moment of casting this game, the Viper is number 2 on the ranked ladder behind Hera. I mean, he's like 200 elo behind Hera, but, or maybe like 150 or 180. But I mean, number 2 on the ranked ladder is not bad at all. Wood for our Sicilian, a little bit less for our Malian again. Don't need as much wood. And then all of the rest of the resources for the Malian. Not surprising, gold, almost double the gold. Relic's not really playing a role, but the Viper does end up with 3 to 2. And not exactly an extra castle's worth of stone, but a little bit more stone as well. 7 conversions to 4. Why do I feel like the conversion count should have been much higher this game? I feel like Gebetos and units were being converted left, right, and center. 12 raisings to 2. And let's take a look at that kill count. 140 to 120. 37 villagers to 16. So if you were to add back the difference in villagers, Mysterio would have a villager lead. But unfortunately, by the way, what are we working with here? Well, I guess I could just look here, right? Does this show me farming? No, this shows me farming upgrades. Okay, so he does not have crop rotation yet. So his farms are not exactly optimized for the Sicilians. Remember the fully upgraded Sicilian farm, 1,019 food. But more importantly, I mean, look at his base. There's not a single defensive structure unless you count the town centers. And there is just nowhere for him to do anything. And infrastructure is safe to the south. That's not bad at all. But now you got roaming bands of Gebetos to your right. You got roaming bands of Gebetos guarding 2 Trebs to your center. Meanwhile, your villager line has been decimated or is about to get decimated. And the Viper just holds the line against that push, against that early Donjon push. That was, where was it? Somewhere here to lame this primary gold. Has he not even mined out his primary gold? That's funny. Wow, the Viper just had to expand in all directions. And I really thought if Mysterio had seen that the 4 of the 5 starting resources for the Viper were all in the forward position, he would have applied a lot more pressure. Unfortunately, the Viper just got his butt up to Castle Age, got those knights out, and started applying pressure of his own. And Mysterio maybe just didn't bring enough villagers in the forward position. I think, what did he have? 3 villagers? Maybe if he brought 6 or 7 or 10, he could have built those donjons lightning fast, and then he could build maybe one a bit closer to the other to have each other's backs, since they don't have murder holes in Feudal Age. Actually, I don't think they have murder holes at all. I don't even need to look. I can see that the Viper doesn't have murder holes, but irrelevant. The Viper holds, the Viper pushes, the Viper gobbles up all the resources all along the map. And despite seeing the first crusade, despite seeing the elite sergeant fully upgraded, it just could not withstand the onslaught of the Gebeto, the MVP for the Viper, who takes the W, but GG to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.